My clock says 1:30, so we're starting. I'm calling this meeting to order. Good afternoon and welcome to the Community and Economic Development Committee meeting. I have something that I am supposed to read, so I'm going to. Today is our first meeting with Zoom public comment available again, and we welcome those joining us remotely. If you are attending in person and wish to speak, please complete a speaker card and place it in one of the designated boxes at the bottom of the council chambers. Brian, I know you know how to do that. For those joining remotely, the Zoom link is available on the agenda for today's meeting. If you are participating online and wish to speak, please use the Zoom application and select the raise hand feature or press *9. If you are on a telephone, that is. Speakers will be called in order. When it is your turn, the city clerk will enable you to speak and a notification will appear on your screen letting you know that you may unmute and provide your comments. We appreciate everyone's participation and ask the speakers follow the meeting code of conduct so that all participants have an opportunity to be heard and the hearing can proceed smoothly. Conduct that materially disrupts the meeting or interferes with others' ability to participate may result in muting or removal as authorized by law. I might remind you also that the speaker time is 1 minute per caller or person in attendance. With that, will the clerk's office please call the roll?
Councilmember Casey?
Here.
Mulcahy?
Here.
Ortiz?
Present.
Kamei?
Here.
And Chair Foley.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have any work plan to review or a consent calendar. We just are moving to the reports of the committee. And the first report is the City Manager's Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs Performance Measures Audit Report, Joe, Royce, and team. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Joe Royce, City Auditor. I'm here with Hawad Hyder for audit of the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs Performance Measures. Also in the box is Jen Baker from the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs, or OEDCA. OEDCA reports performance information across multiple channels to communicate progress toward its economic development, cultural vitality, and workforce goals. This includes the city's adopted operating budget, and regular reporting to the City Council on its economic strategy work plan, and updates for the Growing Our Economy focus area. In recent years, OEDCA has substantially revised its performance measurement framework in response to City Council direction and citywide performance management initiatives. The objective of this audit was to assess the reliability, validity, and usefulness of OEDCA's performance measures. OEDCA reports, or the first finding, or only finding, is that OEDCA's performance measures are generally useful and reliable, but some measures can be clearer and more meaningful. OEDCA reports 39 performance metrics in the adopted operating budget across its services, and these measures generally reflect ongoing work and align with goals in the Economic Strategy Work Plan and the Growing Our Economy focus area. We did find that while most performance measures in the operating budget are useful and reliable, some can be improved to enhance clarity, usefulness, and consistency. Also, some performance results in the operating budget reflect key results and goals in the 2-year Economic Strategy Work Plan and should be reviewed to ensure they reflect longer-term goals and targets. And lastly, OEDCA has not yet fully documented the methodologies behind its performance measures, both those tracked internally and those that rely on outside sources. So for this finding, we recommend to improve their performance measures, OEDCA should review select performance measures to enhance usefulness and clarity, and determine whether measures reflect longer-term targets and goals, and to document methodologies for calculating performance measures, both internally and externally. Overall, the report has 5 recommendations to improve the clarity, consistency, and long-term usefulness of OEDCA's performance measures. We want to thank OEDCA for their time and insight during the audit process. I ask that you accept the report and cross-reference the September 29th council meeting. Happy to answer any questions, but first I'm going to turn it over to Jen Baker for the administration's response. Thank you.
Thank you, City Auditor Royce. Jen Baker, Director of the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs. And just as an orientation statement, I think our team was was very pleased at the collaborative nature of the approach and the dialogue, and really the effort in wanting to make sure that our measures and our metrics are indeed clearly defined and ones that can be followed year on end to create the right reflection of our work and our deliverables. So thank you for a great process along the way. The administration's responses are all noted in the yellow pages, and I'm happy to take any questions specific to any of the recommendations.
Great. Thank you for the presentation and for the city manager's approval or acceptance of all of those. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak?
Yes, Brian Darby, please make your way down to the podium. You will have 1 minute to speak.
I have a long list of things that I thought went well. It was good that the auditor and the department worked well together, the administration worked well together. I have seen audit reports turn into almost fistfights. So I can tell you that that's a big positive for everybody. I agree with, I'm glad that the 5 recommendations, I wrote down some more recommendations. Given only a minute, it's hard to obviously summarize all that, but I think they did a good job, and I'm glad everybody had a chance to, the 2 events, the Super Bowl and FIFA, went well. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Great, thank you. Turning to members of the committee, Councilmember Mulcahy.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Jen, Joe. Jen, this is really for you. I'm not sure if it was reflected in the response in the report, but you know, OEDCA has a lot of partners in our community, from San Jose Sports Authority, Team San Jose, Downtown Association, et cetera, all of whom are interested in data collection, reporting out. I'm wondering if you see opportunity to really sort of, you know, set a standard or a cooperative effort in the way that we're utilizing, you know, whether it's the cell phone data that we hear out. Is that something that you're thinking about, and do you see opportunity there to kind of create a common language and reference tool?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Councilmember Mulcahy. I think this question most closely aligns with recommendation number 5, which is discussing the consistency with which we're setting expectations and co-creating expectations with external partners. It's certainly the case that the city doesn't have access to all of the subscriptions or metrics capturing tools, so the interface that we share with our external partners, and to some extent the expectation that's outlined in our contract, and contracts plural, can help us create broader consistency. Sometimes that would represent as consistency of geographic region capture for cell phone pings or foot traffic and pedestrian data, and making sure that the definitions of what we're capturing are in alignment, and that the tools that we don't necessarily own the subscription for, but that we can try to create the right year-on-end continuity of how those tools are creating a clear picture of our efforts.
So are you suggesting, because I was going to ask you about the cost, because there is a subscription for a number of those, but there's an opportunity to do shared data. Somebody's responsible for that subscription. Maybe you have one that they don't, and maybe there's some cross-collateralization you can utilize in that way.
There is.
Okay. And then Joe, for you, just remind me again, what was the time frame from commencement to publishing of the audit?
Trying to remember when we set the job start. I think we set the job start in this, I think we set the job start in either December or January. And then we wrapped up. Obviously, we published just last week, but a lot of the work was wrapped up in May and June. It was just the timing over the break. So it's, I think
over the course of the busiest time of the work that OEDCA has been doing around SJ26 and so forth. So you've been sort of doing this work all along that process.
Yeah, I mean, we're working in parallel. I mean, we're trying to Obviously, we're working with them, but we're trying to minimize our footprint to not get in the way of the ongoing work.
And then just last for you, Jen, on the, I think it says set to be completed throughout the next fiscal year in terms of some of the outcomes of this. You feel like you're on track for that, and will that sort of come through committee before it goes to council, do you see?
We're definitely on track. We've been implementing things like definitional methodology capture so that we can have institutional knowledge and carryover and consistency. So those are currently processes underway. I think the most apparent target date for completion of some of the work is in advance of the proposed operating budget, which would be March 31st, 2027.
Okay. Thank you. With that, I'll move for approval of the report.
Great, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
Moving it to council.
Okay, cross-referencing to council, yeah, September 29th. I do have a question for you, Jen, regarding the public art works. One of the performance measures is that we may make sure that a certain percentage of our public art is maintained in good or excellent condition. I have the question I have really deals specifically with the Sister City Walk along the Guadalupe and those pieces. Are those all considered public art projects?
I would have to double check the inventory on each of the individual installations to verify whether or not they're officially entered into the public art inventory.
Okay. If you could get back to me separately, that would be great. And of specific interest is, it seems that many of the pieces along that walk have deteriorated significantly. And if there are public art, then we should figure out a way to improve them and bring them up to standard. And publicly, I'd like to thank you for the work that you and your team are doing on relocating Momotaro to the airport by the end of this year. So thank you. With that, I see no further hands raised. Let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, Jen, team. Now we move on to the Economic Development Activities Report. A lot's happened since we met.
Yes, for sure. Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and committee members, Blah Gizalowicz, Deputy Director in the City Manager's Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs. I don't typically give this report, but I'm happy to be here today giving it as our Public Information Manager Carlos Velasquez in mid-March. He transitioned over to the Environmental Services Department. We're happy for him. And we're also very happy that hopefully by the next time, or assuredly by the next time we're giving this report, we will have a new Public Information Manager. We're in the recruiting and hiring process right now. So with that, I'd like to start off with some of the arts and cultural activities over the last reporting period, which is since February of 2026. The Office of Cultural Affairs commissioned acclaimed artists and entered into some very exciting collaborations with San Jose State University to enliven downtown with interactive art and technology projects in the first half of this year. And 4 of those that we wanted to outline were the illuminated artworks that were displayed throughout downtown from January to July. The free throw installation, that was an interactive project mapping collab with SJSU and animated SAP Center's Eastern facades during the March Madness games. We had Gaiascope that just recently came down in the Circle of Palms by acclaimed artist Brooke Einbender, which transformed the Circle of Palms into an active, immersive art experience. And lastly, as you've probably seen in City Hall, we have the Hometown Heroes display, and that is a sports-themed murals and photography of 55 local artists. Later this week, we'll have a city dance event, but during the month of June, basically OCA's special events team hosted 6 expanded city dance events in downtown SoFa District. And many of those events incorporated watch parties, especially when the Mexico team was playing. They were very well-attended events, and I think people loved the fact that we incorporated the city dance events with the World Cup activations. And then just recently in June, OCA launched a dedicated website and email address for our city's film permit program, and that has resulted in a very significant increase in the number of permits that have been issued for film-related activities than have been in the previous 4 years. Continuing with some major events and activations, in March we once again welcomed NVIDIA's GTC conference to the Convention Center and throughout downtown. That was a culmination of significant interdepartmental and cross-partner collaboration to ensure an extremely positive downtown experience for almost 36,000 conference-related visitors. This was a 78% increase from 2025, and we had a 51% increase in out-of-state visitors. We had attendees traveling from 956 different zip codes nationwide, which is pretty amazing. March was definitely a busy month. As we said goodbye to NVIDIA, we helped the men's college basketball tournament, Sweet 16 and Elite 8 rounds, gear up for games at the SAP Center, which was hosted by San Jose State University. And having those games once again at SAP Center further demonstrated our capacity and our ability to successfully host high-profile national sporting events. It was really exciting, especially for a basketball player like me. And if that wasn't enough, we welcomed nearly 1 million visitors to downtown from mid-June to mid-July for World Cup-related watch parties. We're also very proud to have facilitated watch party programming or activations across all 10 council districts. It was really exciting and invigorating to see everybody come out, be in community for this month-long international event. With respect to economic and business development activities, we were busy on the grants front. We just had $490,000 distributed to 49 small businesses throughout the city. And we also designated an initial round of funding for small business startup grants to 21 awardees. And that was a program that had over 800 applications and over 400 qualified applicants. We were also busy launching the Neighborhood Economic Grant, which is intended to catalyze commercial corridor investment through our city. And the small business/neighborhood team was working very hard to complete approval of 4 new business improvement districts and renew 4 existing bids in the city. The combined budget for these new and renewed districts is approximately almost $1.5 million, with nearly 7,000 businesses contributing. In late June, we co-sponsored the annual Spanish language entrepreneurship event at Mexican Heritage Plaza with more than 200 businesses in attendance. The programming really focused on the utilization of artificial intelligence and digital marketing to assist small business owners and entrepreneurs. And kind of an extra bonus, we were honored to have the Consul General of Mexico actually also join us for that event. So that was very neat. In the area of workforce and talent development, our staff at Work to Future welcomed more than 200 youth participants for the launch of the 2026 San Jose Works Summer Program. And that event really helped to ensure that participants were prepared and supported as they began their paid work experiences. Some notable business openings over the past 6 months included Strata, which is the base at the Miro Tower, right here across the street from City Hall. We had TNT Supermarket open in Westgate area. A leading Asian grocer kind of made their way down from Canada and opened their first California location, only their third in the United States, so we were privileged to have that happen. Las Casuelas, a longtime beloved restaurant that is currently on Ray Street, moved their really delicious homemade Mexican fare from central San Jose down to South San Jose, making some people very happy, I see. And then we had Sakura Japanese Market celebrated its grand opening at the base of San Jose State University's Spartan Village in July. And if you haven't taken a walk over there for lunch, it's really kind of an amazing experience, and the sushi is delicious. Okay, so the business development team's corporate outreach officers have prioritized engagement in and hosting industry events intended to broaden our exposure as a business investment opportunity. On the screen, you can see the team's corporate and industry engagement activities during this reporting period and the industry sectors that were kind of the primary attendees to each event. So we were definitely keeping busy, trying to do our best to grow our innovation economy. On the international affairs front, we welcome the Lord Mayor of Dublin and a Dublin City Council delegation for a 4-day visit commemorating 40 years of our sister city relationship. A comprehensive program of meetings and activities with our mayor and vice mayor, council members, city manager, and various city departments and local business leadership was definitely on the agenda for their visit. And kind of new this year, as part of our SJ26 activations, the business development team hosted an inaugural international business and investment event at the end of June. We convened 94 attendees, and the event consisted of a bus tour highlighting San Jose's innovation corridors and investment opportunities, and it was followed by an executive summit with many distinguished panelists and a keynote by Zoom CEO, which is really very inspiring. And over the last 6 months, we've had 4 new foreign trade zone applications approved, taking the number of participating businesses in the foreign trade zone program from 12 to 16. And I think even more exciting is that we have 6 additional applications currently under review with the federal government. So that has really heated up over that program over the last 2 years. And then last but certainly not least, we're very excited to welcome an economic data analyst to the team in mid-March. Chris Schaefer came to us after a 2.5-year stint in Morgan Hill with their economic development team. He holds a bachelor's and master's in economics and a minor in urban planning, so he really gets what we're doing. And we definitely have plenty to keep Chris busy with as he's supporting our strategic initiatives to advance investment, development, and job creation in the city. So we're very happy to have Chris. And with that, that concludes our semi-annual activities report. Happy to take any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Your department has been very busy, as has the city, particularly with the 2026 activities, and it's really exciting to hear the success of the World Cup, and the activations all over the city was really a great way to bring football out to all of our districts. Any members of the public who wish to speak?
Yes, Brian Darby, please make your way down to the podium. You will have 1 minute to speak.
I'm going to try to read this. Thank you. There is a lot in this report, and it deserves a lot of recognition. The World Cup brought a lot of people. I'd like to see in the future report maybe what jobs created or retained, private investment, business survival, reduced storefront vacancies, increased tax revenues, and city costs comprehended with the return. San Jose actually has a very sophisticated new economic data analysis, which I want to acknowledge the staff for developing. And none of this is a criticism. The better outcomes actually shows you how much more work you're doing. because to be honest with you, a lot of times between the public perception and what is actually being done, there's a big disconnect. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Great. Seeing no hands raised, is there a motion to accept the report?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. With that, let's vote. Thank you for your presentation. This concludes the formal portion of our agenda. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak in open forum?
Yes, Brian Darby, please make your way down to the podium.
I totally hope I'm wrong about this. I wasn't back in 2008 with the real estate, and I wasn't back when that particular person got elected and got elected again. We're heading into some extremely tough times economically. I mean, I hope depression isn't one of them, but a deep, deep, deep recession. And the city did really well, as much as what could be done. This committee will take on an important role. I really hope I'm wrong and I eat crow and all the rest of that, but I don't. Looking what $40 trillion, looking what's going on with, especially if the midterm turns south, they're going to crash this economy just to get even. I hope, again, I'm wrong. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
With that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, Jen.